May it please the court, your honors, opposing counsel, and you, members of the jury. On behalf of the entire plaintiff team, we would like to thank you for both your time and attentiveness throughout today's trial. Sometimes in life we must choose between what is easy and what is right. You see, accusing someone of cheating without any evidence, that's easy. Jumping to conclusions without the facts, that too is easy. And disregarding the ramifications for your actions, that's also easy. But are those actions right? You see, the actions I just described for you, the actions of the defendants in today's case, and while they are most certainly easy and convenient, they are most certainly not right. You see, this case begins at the start of the 2014-15 season, where Shay Simmons went to his guidance counselor, Mr. McBride, for financial assistance. And that's when Mr. McBride brought up the Metropolitan County Bar Foundation Scholarship. A scholarship that, as Mr. Meisner told us today, was given for nearly 44 years in a row. There was never a problem with funding in those 44 years. And that's when Shay Simmons decided to join the mock trial team. And Shay spent those months before the county final competition preparing. He worked diligently to make sure that he would be able to achieve that scholarship. And while the defense tried to tell you today that what he did was easy, he stole lines from his coach, Shay Simmons said quite the opposite. You see, he took the stand today and told you all about how he improvised upon what Mr. McBride gave him. He didn't just use it, he improvised on it. And that leads us to the county final of 2015 between Metropolitan High School, who I just described, and Greenwood Academy. Now let's take a minute to talk about Greenwood Academy. As Ms. Winchell told you today, her team was very successful, a team that had won nearly 14 years in a row. But in the county final of 2015, Greenwood Academy lost. You see, their dynasty ended. They didn't know where to turn at that point. And that's when Delaney Barnes' blog post was born. Now you're going to have the chance in just a few minutes to read that blog post. And you'll be able to see the accusations within it. But let me tell you why those two major accusations are false. You see, the first accusation accuses Mr. McBride of stealing information from a Greenwood student's binder. Now, we the plaintiff are not disputing the fact that Mr. McBride had that binder. We fully concede to it. But as Mr. McBride told us today, he only had that binder for a few seconds. And the defense witnesses corroborate his story. They bolster his testimony. They all took the stand for you today and told you that they did see Mr. McBride with that binder at one moment in time. Delaney took the stand for us today. She couldn't tell us that she saw Mr. McBride with that binder during the trial. She couldn't tell us that she saw Mr. McBride with that binder during the conversation in the hallway. Why? Because it didn't happen. Now on to that second accusation of cheating. It accuses Mr. McBride of passing information to Shay Simmons during a conversation in the hallway. But let's talk about why Mr. McBride and Mr. Simmons were actually out in the hallway to begin with. You see, as Mr. McBride told us today, Shay Simmons didn't seem himself. He fumbled over a question and a few objections, and that's what led Mr. McBride to the conclusion that Shay was off. He wasn't himself. But Mr. McBride waited a few minutes. He didn't trigger all the alarm bells off at that point. He waited a few minutes. But then when Shay didn't return, well, that's when he got worried. And that's when, as you heard today, he went out of the courtroom to check and see if Shay was okay. That was it. Like he told us today, total time, 10 seconds, not 7 minutes. And after that 10-second conversation, everyone returned to the courtroom. Now, Delaney wanted you to believe that that conversation was about the trial. But Delaney didn't see any binders. Delaney didn't see any papers. Delaney didn't hear anything other than, quote, "I got it, don't worry about it, I got it." But she's trying to lead you today to believe that that was cheating. Therefore, we submit to you today that there is no rational basis for that blog post. Now, Ms. Winchell, she's a co-defendant in today's case, and quite frankly, she isn't innocent either. You see, Ms. Winchell took the stand for you today and tried to tell you that she's here to defend Greenwood Academy. Does that sound like an unbiased witness to you? Furthermore, Ms. Winchell took the stand for you today and told you that she sent that blog post to Chris Harrison, the executive director of the Metropolitan County Bar Foundation. But why Ms. Harrison? Why is she relevant in today's case? Well, Ms. Harrison's the executive director of the Bar Foundation, the person with unilateral authority concerning whether or not that scholarship is given out. Now, Ms. Harrison tried to tell you today that she didn't have the funds to give the scholarship. And members of the jury, we wouldn't even be here today if Ms. Harrison did one thing. If she brought one document, a single piece of paper, that said the Bar Foundation didn't have enough money, definitively. If it had the account records that the Bar Foundation didn't have enough money, but she didn't do so. Why? Because we submit to you today, she's lying. You see, we know Ms. Harrison received that blog post on February 3rd. And as she said today, she read that blog post before deleting it. And right when she read it, she realized that she couldn't give a scholarship to someone who cheated. That would put the entire foundation in jeopardy. She would be out of a job. She couldn't afford to have the Bar Foundation under a cloud. And that's when she decided to say that the Bar Foundation would not give a scholarship out due to funding. Members of the jury, it wasn't due to the funding. It was due to the fact that she couldn't give a scholarship to someone who was accused of cheating. But furthermore, we learned today that an appeals decision was made that Metropolitan High School did not cheat. The official word said that they did not cheat. And while Delaney tried to tell you today that they cheated, they must have cheated, well, that's fine. But it's her opinion. She's entitled to her opinion. But it's not the truth. The truth is that the Bar Foundation found that Metropolitan High School did not cheat. Now, we, the plaintiff, are seeking compensatory damages in today's case, which basically means that we are seeking the $30,000 scholarship that was wrongfully taken from Shay Simmons by the reckless actions of the defendants. Now, I stand up here and I ask you to not do what the defendants did. Don't do what is easy. Don't do what's easy. Don't do what's convenient. Do what's right and find those defendants liable of private defamation. Thank you.